And welcome to Morning in the Mountains right here in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. And speaking of the Smoky Mountains, here on Mountain Fun Live, I'm here with Dana Soehn as our guest. I did pronounce that right, correctly?
You did great.
Dana, it's so good to have you with us. And it's good for the folks who are visiting to know about all the information and the goings on here in the mountains. And I think maybe that you're just the one that can give us the information that we need. And so I understand that you have some new tourism stats so people can kind of find out how many people are coming in to visit these beautiful mountains of ours.
The Smokies has been the most visited national park now for many years, and we just broke another record. So we've seen 11.4 million visitors come into the park, and this year in particular, in 2019, we've set a monthly visitation record every month now except for February. So usually this time period, we are seeing now 1 million additional guests than we did over 2018. So what that means for people coming to the mountains is to make sure that they are prepared for their visit so they can come at maybe at a less congested time if they're worried about traffic. So I recommend that people think about early mornings and midweek so that they can make sure they've planned plenty of time to get to the trailhead or their destination.
So what you're saying is that a new record is being set every month?
Except for February.
Except for February. And every other month of the year, except for February, you all are setting a new record for visitors to the national park.
A lot of that has to do with the new section of roadway that we just opened last year. Oh. And so that section of the Foothills Parkway will take people from Walland to Wares Valley along about a 15-mile roadway that's connected with 9 bridges. It's a spectacular driving experience. It just makes you feel like you're hanging on the edge of the park.
So that one is finished, that goes into Wares Valley?
We opened it in November last year.
Opened it in November. You know, I haven't even been on that one yet. I can imagine that it is just sheer beauty to travel that parkway. And that is just, I'll have to go up. I've got to go up. I'm local. I should have already known that. I should have been on that and found that out. But anyway, what about the events that you have going on?
Well, we have daily programs that people can take part in at our main visitor center areas, so places like Kate's Cove, Econo-Lefty, and Sugarlands. We have special programs at our campgrounds, and in particular this year, the community around Cosby, Tennessee has come together and are offering special programs at the Cosby Campground Amphitheater every Friday night. So you can go there and enjoy some old-time music. You can hear some stories from people that used to live in that area before the park was established. They're even going to have some Cherokee storytellers here in a couple of weeks.
I fit into that category, or at least my great-grandfather who lived in the Sugarland, the first Sugarlands look-off as you go up into the park. The Sugarlands, he owned several acres, Ogle.
Well, those are the kind of stories that people are fascinated with, and it's so much richer to hear them from someone that's either a descendant, or we still have people that actually lived in the park that are there to tell the stories. So I encourage people to check that out on Friday nights.
So this is the Cosby celebration.
Celebrating Cosby, and the really unique thing is that they are programs led by people in the community and not necessarily park rangers.
Right. That sounds terrific. Now, about the bear and elk migration, what can you tell us about that?
Well, we always want to remind people how they can be prepared for being in bear country.
Right.
And so this time of year, the bears are really busy eating berries. The blackberries are ripening up at lower elevations. The blueberries are starting to ripen at the higher elevations. And so they're really focused on trying to take in those summer fruits and nourishment. So we just remind people to keep your food, your garbage, put up so the bears aren't tempted to those unnatural foods.
Exactly. In other words, do not feed the bears. It can be dangerous, so you don't want to do that. I know it's tempting. And please do not attempt to take a selfie with a bear. That wouldn't work out too well. Be sure that you stay at a distance, right?
At least 50 yards, and that allows you to be safe, and it allows us to keep those bears wild. So we're encouraging everyone to just follow bear wise policies when they're out there so that they can enjoy the visit and just capture the moment. And you don't need to do that with the selfie.
Right. And those folks, those are the bear facts. Be sure and follow those for your own safety and for the sake of keeping the bears and the deer, the elk, whatever else you see, even wild turkeys. Last time I was in Cades Cove, I saw flocks of wild turkeys. And a lot of people may not realize that those gobblers, the male, they have those spurs. And if you get too close, now they can turn on you and they can turn in a hurry. So remember, distance is the key.
And they're a lot of fun to watch.
They sure are. And the wildlife, that is one of the main things that I love to see if I'm going to Cades Cove or through the park in general. I like to observe the wildlife, and it's just so much fun because a lot of people, if they live in the city, they never see anything like this.
It's a great opportunity to see elk, and if people want to see them, the most reliable place to see them is to drive across the mountain, across Newfound Gap Road, over to the area of Cherokee and the Econo Visitor Center. And if you're there kind of early in the morning or around dusk, you're likely to see the elk herd out there in the Econo fields.
And the elk are moving into this area over into the East Tennessee.
Well,
area,
we had a couple of elk come across the mountain recently.
Ooh, okay.
And so we had one for the last couple of weeks hanging around Sugarland's Visitor Center, and we've had one in Townsend. Now, we understand that it looks like they've gone back, but that's only to be expected because that's where the herd is.
Yeah.
But that could be happening throughout the summer until the breeding season.
Okay.
And breeding season, they're all going to flock to either Econo or Cataloochee, where the rest of the herd is.
Okay, we thank you so much for joining us on Morning in the Mountains on Mountain Fun Life, and we thank you, Dana, for coming in with some valuable information. So thank you very much for watching Morning in the Mountains.